Hey everybody, welcome to episode 11 or 12 of Super Platformer Bros. My name is Dave and this is Let's Make a Game Together. If I sound different, it's because I have bought a brand new shiny microphone. It might sound worse or it might sound better. I'm still trying to get used to it, so I'm not sure if I'm speaking into it properly or vice versa. But the main reason I'm bringing up is because of the support on Patreon. Yes, you guys helped get me get this microphone so all of these tutorials will sound better and I don't have to use a cup holding my iPhone headphones to get the sound quality. Hopefully it sounds better, but if not, I'll keep working at it. Anyway, so this episode is actually inspired by some awesome people on Patreon, some of their questions. A lot of people have been asking about a 2D character system, character select system. So like, how do you do it? Like, it sounds extremely complicated, right? You need two different scenes, you need to like do a bunch of stuff, but I'm going to show you just a really simple way to do a character select system, because every character select system is going to be different, but this is going to be like, honestly, it's cheap as like super simple way of doing it. Like I'm talking like less than 10 lines of code probably. This is gonna rock your socks off, and it's just show you how simple it can be to do a character select system for your game. Okay, so first of all, what I'm going to do is just have a look at this project, just clean up a little bit. So we've got the end level there, don't need that on. Canvas, that's fine. Event system, yeah, great. Data management, that's fine. Camera, that's fine. Just look at the player. Okay, so this is our player, and I think I remember we also have a player prototype here, which basically is the same thing but with different graphics and no animations. If we just remove that, we don't need these two anymore, just for now. They were from a previous episode. Let's turn off this. Let's see if this player works. It's hard to tell. And no, it doesn't work. Player score, player health. Just having a look. Sorry, I'm just trying to familiarize myself with this. Actually, you know what? We don't even need to. Actually, this doesn't. I'm getting ahead of myself. We don't even need to actually do this. So I'm just going to just turn this off. Actually, in fact, we're going to turn off both. We're going to just delete both. So if we start the game starts, and nothing happens. There's no player. Great. Okay, so we're going to create two scripts. Null reference exception. Yep, we got that because the camera is looking for a character. So first thing, actually, let's just fix that. So let's just go into the camera system. So it's good to do a check. So you've got a private game object player here. It's good to do a check here just to make sure, just to say, hey, if there is no game object, then don't look for one. So if we can say if, and then just copy that, equals null. Well, we don't want to do it if it equals null. We want to only do it if it doesn't equal null. So to do that, we just get rid of one of these equals at the start and put the exclamation mark, as I'm sure you guys remember. So press play. And the same here. Oops. Okay, and that should fix our errors. Cool. That's just like a bit of safekeeping there. It's not something that will actually affect our in game. Like, we probably don't even need to add these two lines here because we're actually going to spawn a character in a second. But just wanted to clean up the code, make it a little bit nicer. So when you press play now, we get no errors because it's checking before it does anything. Great. Now, the next thing we want to do is we want to create a script called, actually, let's create a new scene. File, new scene, save the changes to this scene, and we're going to call this scene, going to save this scene as character select. Okay. And so just to make it obvious that we're in a different scene, let's change the color for the background to about that. Fantastic. So if we go save the scene, character select, prototype. Cool. 2 different scenes. Fantastic. If we go to build settings, we want to add this open scene, prototype 1, and then exit, and then we're going to click on character select as well and go to build settings as well and click add open scene. So we've got both the scenes now in the build, which means we'll be able to move back and forth between them. And then we want to go into our scripts and create a new script. So this one's going to be called character select. Character selector, I suppose, is better name. And we're going to create a new one called character spawner. Cool. So let's open character select. All right. Unity is freaking out. Thank you, Unity, for doing this. Great. So inside of character selector, just for now, we're going to also create a button that allows you to go from this scene to the next scene. So to do that, we need to use a namespace called scene management. So we can just say using Unity engine dot scene management. And then all we need to do is we need to create 2 methods. We don't need the start and we don't need the update. We need a... Sorry, I'm also on a Windows computer and I'm not used to Windows computers or Windows keyboards. So it's also... I'm on my new PC, so it's getting a little bit... It's a bit of touch and go trying to get used to all of this, but I'm getting there. So create a new method which needs to be public, which means that we can access it through like buttons and through other scripts and stuff. So just make it public, void, choose character. And we're going to create an int. It's going to be require an int, which is going to be called character index. Awesome. And then another method, sorry, is public void load scene. And we could put an int at the, and like make it a bit more fancy, but for now we're just going to say scene manager dot load scene. And we're just going to say, what's our scene called actually? We need to have this exact string here. So I just copied that. It's doing that thing where it's not pasting. Awesome. So when this gets called, it should load prototype 1. Look at that, right? It's prototype 1. Okay, cool. So on to our next little bit. So all we need to do, okay, so here's the cool bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to create some UI elements, and when you select the character that you want, you'll be able to then, that character is then selected. Even when you quit the game and come back into the game, that will be the default selected character. And it's really, really simple. So let's just create a UI button, and we're going to call this player 1. we're going to, let's just change the sprite to something. Let's actually just change it to the player. I don't know how this is going to look. Oh, that looks fantastic. Preserve pixels. And we can just move that into position. Obviously, this isn't ideal. We can actually get rid of the text. We don't need the text. So we've got that player, which is, you know, obviously surrounded by, all of that will be touchable, but you'll be able to adjust that to your liking. But we're just for this sake, this is what we're going to do. And then we're going to copy that player 2. And we're going to just change the sprite, first of all, to our prototype sprite, which is, in my opinion, way better. That was a funny joke, by the way. You should have laughed. Okay, cool. So we got our 2 characters. Great. Fantastic. And we just, last thing we need is another button. And this one's actually just going to be a button, and it's going to be called, it's going to say, we're going to keep the text on there. It's just going to say start game. Cool. So press play. Let's see how it looks full screen. They're tiny. Obviously, this isn't a lesson on laying out the UI. That's a whole other subject. Actually something I'm not very good at, but I could tinker around for ages, but you get the idea. Select that one, you select that one, and press start game. Cool. Actually, that is going to annoy me a little bit. I'm just going to hold shift and link it to the corner, and then the same with these guys. And my tutorial is great. I say one thing and then do another. Okay, let's just see how that works. I hate this. All right, good enough for me. Okay, cool. So now they're separate and you can click on them. Let's just see if we can click on them. Cool. You can see that there's a click. Start game. Nothing happens yet. All right. So what we want to do is we want to get our, I suppose we can, let's just create an empty object. I suppose you can put this on anything, but we're just going to call this script. And we're just going to zero it out for the sake of my obsessive compulsive disorder. And we're just going to say character selector. Cool. And then all we need to do is go to player 1 and we can actually drag in, well, press plus on this click event and we can just drag in the script. It says no function here. We can click down on the functions. We can go into character selector, and because we made it a public void, we can actually choose the methods here. You see we've got load scene and we got choose character, which is the 2 methods that we created. So right now we want to do choose character and we want the index to be 0 because it's player 1. Actually, to make things a bit easier to understand, we're going to call this player 0. I'm going to call this player 1. The reason is obviously because integers start at 0, not at 1. So it's 0, 1, 2, 3 instead of 1, 2, 3. So it just makes more sense to name this one player 0 and, you know, have it on 0. And then player 1, we can do the same thing. We can just drag the script to there, click character selector, choose character, and we're going to have this one as 1. Awesome. And the only other thing we need to do is this button here. We need to also drag in the script. Oops, press the plus button, sorry. Drag in script, click character selector, and click load scene. So if we press play now, nothing happens when we click these people. But if we click start game, it opens the other scene, which is what we want. Isn't that cool? Pretty simple, right? And that's the other thing that you can do, that I was trying to say that we don't really have time for, or I wasn't going to explain too much, but you basically can actually do the same thing with these characters. So you can have like the integer, you could have the same thing here, and you could actually load whichever level it is. So you could have like, you know, you can make that button say like level 22, and so all you need to do is like connect that to the script and click like 22, and it'll load level 22. It's a bit hard to explain. Maybe I'll do an episode on it later, but yeah, it's pretty just because in our sake we just need to do that, so it's totally fine. Okay, so we got our two characters. We got player 0 and player 1, and so now what we need to do is we actually need to do the actual heavy lifting. So let's move over to choose character, and it's so simple. We need to first. So I'm not sure if I've ever actually explained this right. So just so you know, so normally we would write like something like public int character character index, and then you would assign that inside the inspector and yada yada yada, and that's fine. But just something that's a little bit more complex, and well, not a little bit more complex, but a little bit easier, is we don't need this variable because we can just call it from in here. So for example, this is we're creating a variable here, which is an integer, and then inside of the inspector here, we're clicking on that method, and then we're assigning that variable. So when we click it, we're making the method run with this assigned variable, with this assigned integer, 0, and this one 1. So we're actually assigning it when we like set it up. So then we can actually access whatever this is inside of this method. So we can use this method over and over and over again. But we got this really cool Unity inside Unity has this really good functionality called player prefs, and it's really good for like, you know, player preferences. So like, you know, character selections, you know, volume levels and everything like that, like the preferences of the player. So it actually stays between when you turn off Unity and when you turn it back on, or when you stop your game, quit out of it, and you come back on, it'll actually save it in a secure spot. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think even through app updates and stuff, which is pretty cool. So player prefs set int, and whoops, I did that wrong. Player dot prefs dot set int. So you got a bunch of methods there. And we want to set the int selected character, and then we do comma, and then, well, what do we want to set the selected character? We're actually creating an integer called selected character, unless it already exists, and then we're assigning a value. Well, what value do we want to assign? We want to assign character index, so we just write character index, which is that variable there. Close off. Done. That is seriously it. If we want to test that, we can say void update, and then we can say print the player index that is selected is space. We can't actually do that. That's so annoying. Let me just get rid of this and just chuck it there. Is character index. Because it's a local variable only used inside this method, we can't use it inside of update. But if we go play, we will see in our console down the bottom here, maybe I will get out of full screen mode and go to console. Player index is 1, player index is 0. 1, and you can see it going up there, over here. Cool, so we're setting it each time, and then say if, and then when we quit out of Unity and go back in, it'll be the same. So you might be thinking, okay, so great, Dave. We assigned some index to some character. Like, what does that even mean? That doesn't mean anything. I'm so glad you asked. Thank you for asking. What we're going to do is, just go straight over to our, because now we know how to set our character index. We can just go straight over to our other scene, prototype 1, save this. And we can add a new script, new empty, we'll just call this also script. We'll call it scripts because we might add a few different scripts to it. Bring it up to the top because I like to have it at the top. Actually, I'm going to stick a underscore at the front just so it sticks out. 000. We're actually going to get the camera, and yep, the camera is in a good spot. Cool. And go away, Steam. And now we're just going to add the character spawner. And once again, this is super easy. We open up the character spawner script, and Unity freaks out, and then it doesn't freak out anymore. And we don't need the update at all. We just need to create a public game object array. Oh man, this changing between Mac and PC keyboards, especially like the different layouts, is killing me. Players. So public game object array players, which is just a big list of a big array of player game objects, right? And then all we need to do is let's get rid of that just to show how sexy and small our code can be. Actually, do I need to zoom in a little bit for you guys? Then we can just say if player prefs dot get int. What int it's asking? Well, what int do you want to get? Well, selected character equals 0. And then all we need to do is instantiate. Okay, something's going on here. Something is not right. Let's just press save. Yep, everything's working fine. Strange stuff happening. Then we want to instantiate the players, but we only want to instantiate one player. So obviously we choose the index of what player we want to set. So 0 at vector 2.0, which is just 0 in the transform position, and then quaternion dot identity, which is just the standard prefab rotation. Okay, so done. Add that, and change this to 1, and then change this to 1, which obviously I'm sure, I'm going to leave it for you guys, but I'm sure that you guys have already figured out a much better way to do this. The insert key. But yeah, you can, but obviously there's something obvious here that if anyone in the comments show me, like I know that some of you will pick it up, but for now we're just going to leave it like this. But yeah, show in the comments, write down a way simpler version of doing this with the zeros and the ones and obviously like that. Okay, let's give this a test run. So press play, and nothing happens, and that's because we haven't set any players. Let's set 2 players. So our first player is, we go to prefabs, click back on scripts, player 1, player prototype. Let's just click play. Wow, number 2 is already assigned. Fantastic, right? It's like it's already assigned because of the player pref. So if we go back into I'm getting a bit lost here. Our character select, save here, press play. If we select this character, start game, bang. The next player has started. Press play, select this player, start game, this character is selected. Hurrah, hurrah, it works. That's great. So that is how you can quickly and easily make a character select system. And obviously you can add all the fancy elements of like scrolling past, like in Crossy Road or things like that. And it all would work under the same scheme. You could actually make it more advanced or whatever you want, but that is the really simple and easy way to do it. And just, yeah. And like I said, so let's like select this character, start game. Fantastic. Let's press play again. Click start game. It's this character. Let's, Click this character, start game, great. Press this, start game without selecting character, it's this character. So it remembers, which is really, really cool. So I see that we got a problem down here. Let's just open up the script and see what's going on here. I think this is a problem because we're using this player prototype character that doesn't work anymore, but you get the idea. It's a really simple way of selecting a character. So I think we're going to leave it there, guys. I'm still working on the character controller, and I'm going to be doing a live stream event very shortly on building the new character controller system. If you guys are interested in checking that out, let me know. It's probably going to be next Saturday. I'm going to choose a time that best suits most of my audience that is not super unreasonable. I don't want to get up at 3 in the morning or anything, but I'm going to try and fit it in around the perfect time. So if you want to check that out, comment the top where you live. It'd be good to know where you live for the people who are active on the channel, and what time zone you're in as well. And yeah. We can schedule a live event. I'll build the character controller. It'll be more of a hangout, chilling out. I won't be going more into detail, but it'll be more of like a hangout, but I'll be coding at the same time. And then shortly after that, the character controller will be coming underway in its much better glory. So thanks guys for checking out this channel, and thanks for liking and subscribing and checking out the Patreon. And thanks to all the people on Patreon who wished me well with my leg recovery and my accident. I really, thanks so much. It means a lot to me, guys, and I really do appreciate your support in my recovery. And also thanks guys for supporting me on Patreon as well. So see you later, guys. Peace out.